In the quiet weave of shared secrets and unspoken promises, Mara Ellis has always found her anchor in Noah Archer, her childhood confidant, whose laughter could chase away any storm. Their bond, forged in the unyielding trust of years, feels invincible until a hidden fracture begins to spiderweb through the foundation, threatening to unravel everything she holds dear. As the morning light filters into the familiar cafe, the steam from my latte curls like a secret between us. The steam from my latte curls like a secret between us, fogging the cafe window where the city hums indifferent outside. Noah slides into the booth across from me, his grin easy as always, the one that says, "We've got this, us against the gray mornings." "Your turn," he says, pushing the shared journal toward me, its leather cover worn soft from years of our scribbles. I take it, fingers brushing his, and for a second, the world narrows to this, the ritual, the warmth of routine wrapping us tight. I flip it open, scanning my last entry. Something light about that ridiculous argument we had over pizza toppings, ending with a doodle of us as cartoon detectives. His handwriting follows, looping and familiar. "Missed you yesterday. Coffee's on me forever." My chest loosens, that cozy ache of belonging settling in. We've done this since we were kids, trading pages like breaths. No filters, no fractures. The cafe's murmur fades, clinking spoons, low laughter, and it's just Noah's knee bumping mine under the table. Accidental, but not. But today, as I reach for my pen, something snags. His eyes dart to the window, then back, too quick. The journal feels heavier in my lap, its pages a ledger of what we've built. But what if they've started tallying the hidden? I write, anyway. Forever's a long time. What's new? Hand it back, watch his fingers hesitate on the edge. He smiles, but it's thinner, like light through a cracked pane. The comfort phrase at the seams. Why does his laugh sound rehearsed? Why does the booth feel smaller? He sips his coffee, black and bitter, and murmurs, "Nothing much, same old." The words hang, unspoken doubt pooling beneath them. Our ritual ticks on, but the air thickens with what isn't said. Can this rhythm hold the unraveling? Later that evening, the phone buzzed on the nightstand like a hesitant heartbeat, pulling me from the edge of sleep. It was Noah, our ritual. These late-night calls, the kind that stitched the day's loose ends with lazy laughter. I answered, voice still soft from dreams, the room dim with the glow of a single lamp. Outside, the city hummed faintly, a distant lullaby. "Hey," I said, settling into the pillows. The journal we'd shared since college, lying open on the coffee table across the room, its pages a silent witness to our unfiltered lives. No new entry tonight, but that was fine. Some nights were for talking, not writing. "Hey yourself," Noah replied, his tone warm at first, like always. We slipped into the rhythm. Work gripes, that ridiculous cafe story from lunch, the way the rain had painted the streets silver earlier. Serenity wrapped around me, the kind that came from knowing he was there, unchanging, my anchor in the quiet hours. The phone felt solid in my hand, a lifeline humming with our shared history. But then, mid-sentence, something about weekend plans. His words faltered. A pause, longer than the usual breath. "Mara, yeah, sounds good," he said, but his voice dipped, evasive, like he was reading from a script he hadn't rehearsed. I waited, the line crackling faintly, but no punchline followed. Just space, empty, expanding space. "You okay?" I asked, keeping it light, no edge. The journal caught my eye again, its cover worn from years of secrets spilled between us. Untouched, like it knew something I didn't. Yeah, just tired. Long day. Another beat of silence. Heavier now, pressing against my ear. It wasn't words that unnerved me. It was this void, swallowing our ease. My pulse quickened, a subtle shift from calm to something sharper, like the first crack in glass. Why the distance? Why did his avoidance feel like a door creaking shut? Talk tomorrow, he murmured, already pulling away. Sure. The line went dead, leaving me with the phone's cooling weight in my palm, its screen fading to black. I stared at it, then at the journal, its blank page mocking the sudden chill in the air. The silence lingered, thicker than any question I could voice, whispering doubts I wasn't ready to name. Could I bridge this gap without shattering the safety we'd built? The next afternoon, the phone buzzes on the cluttered kitchen counter, a faint vibration slicing through the apartment's hush. I freeze, coffee mug halfway to my lips, the steam curling like unanswered questions. It's him, Noah. The screen lights up with his name, and my thumb hovers, heart thudding in my ears. Play. I have to play it, or let the silence swallow me whole. His voice spills out, tinny and ragged, filling the dim space. Mara, I didn't mean for it to go like this. There were decisions, things I couldn't say out loud. Not yet. I thought keeping them buried would protect us. But it's eating me up. Please, just don't hate me. Trembling hands clutch the phone tighter, knuckles whitening. The cracked window pane catches the late afternoon sun, splintering light across the floor in jagged shards that dance over my bare feet. Each fragment mirrors the fracture in my chest, once whole, now splintered, letting in drafts of doubt. Anxiety coils low in my gut, a tight knot pulling tighter with every hesitant word he utters. Unspoken decisions. What does that even mean? Buried to protect us? From what? Him. Me. I sink onto the edge of the couch, breath shallow, the voicemail looping in my mind, even as it ends with a click. The silence rushes back, heavier now, pressing against my ribs. His voice, that familiar timbre from childhood, haunts, in late-night confessions, clashes against the void he's left. It doesn't mend, it pries. Confidence I've clung to, the unshakable us, cracks further. A slow fissure under the weight of vagueness. Excuses wrapped in half-truths. No real apology, just echoes that force me to dig inward, scraping at the raw edges of trust. Tears blur the fractured light, hot and unbidden, as my body folds forward. The breakdown comes not in sobs, but in the quiet unraveling, shoulders shaking with the effort to hold it together. What now? Listen harder, or let the shards cut deeper? At work the following day, the fluorescent hum of the office kitchen feels like a lifeline, buzzing over the drip of the coffee machine. I'm stirring sugar into my mug, the spoon clinking rhythmically, when Lena slips in behind me, her shoulder brushing mine. She's always been like this, solid, unyielding, the kind of friend who doesn't let you stare at the floor too long. Mara, she says, voice low, like she's coaxing a secret from the steam rising between us. You've been orbiting this thing with Noah for weeks. The way you check your phone every 5 minutes, then shove it away. It's eating you. I force a laugh, the sound brittle as I lean against the counter. The mug warms my palms, a deceptive cocoon. It's nothing, just old habits. We're fine. She doesn't buy it. Lena crosses her arms, her dark eyes steady, pinning me without accusation. No escape in her gaze, only that quiet insistence that makes my chest tighten. Habits don't make you flinch like that? Talk to me. What's he done? The words stick in my throat, heavy as unspoken vows. I glance at the clock. Break ends in 10. But her presence anchors me here, in this sterile space that suddenly feels too exposed. My fingers itch for my phone in my pocket, the one that's been a silent sentinel, holding voicemails I can't delete. It's betrayal, I whisper, finally, the admission slipping out like a breath I didn't know I was holding. Not just some vague hurt, but Noah's secret, the one that shattered our shared journal of trust, page by hidden page. He chose silence over us, hid behind excuses while I pretended the cracks weren't there. Lena nods, slow, her hand resting lightly on my arm. Naming it doesn't make you weak, Mara. It makes you real. What are you going to do about him? Hold it in forever, or fight for your side of the story? My phone buzzes then, a voicemail notification lighting the screen. Noah's name. I stare at it, heart pounding, the deceptive warmth of our old routines fracturing into raw edges. The device feels like a cracked window pane in my hand. Light still seeps through, but the chill rushes in. Can saying it out loud rebuild something in me? Something that doesn't lean on his loyalty to stand? I pocket it, anxiety blooming, sharp and naked. Lena waits, her steadiness a quiet promise. But the question echoes, unanswered, in the space between us. That evening, at an art gallery opening I attended to escape my thoughts, the gallery hummed with low chatter, wine glasses clinking like distant accusations. I wandered the edges, my fingers tracing the cool edge of a frame, avoiding the crowd's gaze. Noah's voicemail from last night echoed in my head. Unspoken words, a silence that chilled more than any confession. Then I saw her, Elena, poised by a cluster of abstract paintings, her dark hair catching the dim light like a warning. She turned, our eyes locking across the room. My pulse quickened, anxiety twisting in my chest like a knot I couldn't untie. We hadn't spoken since that fracture years ago, the one I'd buried under layers of forced forgiveness. Now, with Noah's betrayal fresh, her presence felt like a mirror I wasn't ready to face. Mara, she said, voice smooth as polished stone, stepping closer. No smile, just that knowing tilt of her head. You look haunted, I swallowed, the air thickening. Just browsing. Old habits. She glanced at the painting beside us. A swirl of muted blues, fracturing into shards. Habits. Like ignoring the cracks until they spiderweb everything. Her words hung, not sharp, but probing, pulling at threads I pretended weren't there. My hands clenched. The anxiety surged, hot and insistent, memories flooding. Her old betrayal, the whispers I'd dismissed as jealousy, the way I'd clung to our friendship like a lifeline, blinding myself to the rot. And now Noah, his secrets mirroring hers, the signs I'd overlooked because loyalty was my armor, my excuse. We drifted toward a full-length mirror, propped against the wall. Part of the exhibit, its surface etched with faint veins, like old scars. Elena stopped before it, her reflection steady, mine wavering. See that? She murmured, eyes on the glass. Not me. We stand here, pretending the fractures don't reflect back. I stared, my face pale against the silver, eyes shadowed. The knot in my chest tightened. Had I chosen this? Ignored the warnings, betrayed my own instincts to play the faithful one, the victim who forgave too easily. Noah's silence, her old lies, they weren't just theirs. I'd invited them in, guarded the door against my own doubts. A chill seeped in, starting from my fingertips, cooling the heat of my fear into something numb, distant. The mirror held us both, unblinking, showing patterns I couldn't deny. The same desperate hold on bonds that broke me. Elena turned away first, her reflection lingering like a ghost. Some things we rebuild alone. she said softly, then melted into the crowd. I stayed, breath fogging the glass faintly, the question coiling inside. Could I see myself without that role, without needing to safeguard what wasn't mine to save? The chill settled deeper, unanswered. Back home that night, the apartment air hangs heavy, like breath held too long. I sit on the edge of the bed, phone clutched in my palm, its screen glowing faintly against the dusk filtering through the cracked window pane. The fracture in the glass mirrors the one I've ignored. Hairline, insistent. Noah's voicemail icon blinks, unopened for days. I know what's coming. The knot in my gut twists tighter, anxiety coiling like smoke. Play it, and the illusion shatters. Our unbreakable friendship, the one that's anchored me since we were kids, scribbling secrets in that shared journal. The recording ends with a beep, leaving silence thicker than before. He's no longer the steady background hum of my life. The cafe laughs, late-night talks, distance yawns, vast and irrevocable. What now? Expose him? Forgive to salvage us? The journal on the nightstand mocks me, its pages once sacred, now tainted. Trust, mine, in him, in myself, feels like a personal wreckage I have to sift through alone. Can I even believe my own instincts after this? The windows crack, lets in a sliver of fading light, fragile hope amid the ruin. But the pain lingers, demanding I decide. Over the following days, the days blur into a haze of silence, thick as the dust settling on my nightstand phone. I wander the apartment, bare feet scuffing the worn hardwood, each step echoing like a question I can't voice. The cracked window pane filters gray light across the floor, splintering shadows that mimic the fracture in my chest. Why does the quiet feel like an accusation? My hands tremble as I pull the shared journal from its shelf, pages splayed open like spilled secrets. Entries from summers ago, Noah's scrawl tangled with mine, promises etched in faded ink. Always, we'd written, under sketches of our childhood haunts, the cafe where we'd laugh until dawn. Now those words mock me. Safety turned to shards. I sink to the floor amid the scattered pages, one fluttering loose to land face up. A doodle of interlocking hands, trust illustrated in simple lines. Anxiety coils in my gut, hot and insistent, replaying the last call. Noah's voice, trailing off, then nothing. Did I push too hard? Demand too much? The emptiness presses, a weight on my ribs, whispering that I must have failed him somehow, that my loyalty wasn't enough to hold us. I trace the ink, fingers smudging the past, and the room spins with what-ifs. Trust was our anchor. Now it's a noose, tightening with every unanswered ring. The phone buzzes, jolting me. Lena's name lights the screen. I answer, voice cracking like the pain. Mara, you sound wrecked. Talk to me. I curl against the wall, pages crunching under me. It's just quiet, too quiet. I keep thinking. Don't, she cuts in, sharp but soft. Self-blame's a trap, hun. It pulls you under, makes you forget it's his mess, not yours. Boundaries aren't betrayal, they're survival. Her words land like hands, steadying a fall, but the anxiety surges, morphing into something heavier, a debilitating realization that sinks into my bones. I clutch a page, the paper tearing slightly. Trust isn't his to give or withhold. It's mine to rebuild, alone in this hollow space. But why did it twist into this? Into me accusing myself for his silence? The question hangs, unanswered, as the line hums with her patient breath. The journal's fragments scattered like the pieces of me I can't yet gather. Inspired by her words, later that afternoon, I sit at the scarred wooden desk in my apartment, the cracked window pane behind me, fracturing the late afternoon light into slivers that dance across the blank page. My pen hovers, heavy as an anchor, and the ache blooms in my chest, sharp, insistent, like the echo of Noah's voicemail still rattling in my skull. That voice, muffled and evasive, confessing fragments of a betrayal I pieced together too late. He chose her, Elena, or someone like her, in ways that shattered our shared history. The pain twists, a knot of self-doubt. Am I the fool for trusting so blindly, for letting our friendship define me? But I can't stay here, drowning in this silence that's become our unspoken pact. The words spill out, ink bleeding onto paper, raw and unfiltered. Noah, I write, my hand trembling. I've carried this fracture like a secret bruise, pretending our bond could mend itself. But it can't. Not without boundaries I never knew I needed to claim. The sentences form haltingly at first, each one a stab of vulnerability, detailing how his hidden decisions eroded my trust, how I won't erase my hurt to preserve his comfort. The pain surges, hot tears blurring the lines, but I push through, articulating the limits. No more unannounced visits to our old haunts, no more leaning on me as your confessor without reciprocity. I need space to heal, not your apologies that dissolve like smoke. As I fold the letter, the empty envelope stares back from the drawer, pristine and waiting, a void that mocks my hesitation. Do I seal it, stamp it, send it into the ether? Or does it stay here, a talisman of what I might never voice? The ache lingers, but something shifts, a quiet resolve hardening in my veins, like light piercing the cracks in the glass. I can't let this define me anymore. My fingers, steadier now, reach for my phone. The screen glows, his name a ghost in my contacts. I type the message before doubt can claw it back. We need to talk, quietly, tomorrow, the cafe on Elm. Please. I hit send, heart pounding against my ribs. The words hang there, unacknowledged yet, a bridge extended over the chasm. Will my voice hold, firm enough to stand my ground, yet soft enough not to shatter what's left? The envelope remains empty, but the decision feels full, propelling me forward into the unknown. The next day, I stand in the dim glow of my apartment, the cracked window pane fracturing the late afternoon light into jagged shards that dance across the floor. It's like my heart right now, split, but still letting something through. Anxiety coils in my chest as I dial Noah, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Noah, we need to talk, now. He arrives 20 minutes later, slouched in the doorway, eyes avoiding mine. The air thickens with unspoken weight. Mara, I didn't mean for it to go this far. His words tumble out, half-formed, dodging the core. What it? The lies? The hiding? I press, my pulse racing. You betrayed me, Noah. Our friendship. It's not some unbreakable thing anymore. Tell me why. He shifts, rubbing his neck. It was a mistake. One night, one choice. I thought I could bury it. For us. For us? You mean for you? The words burn my throat, anxiety twisting into a knot. I want to scream, to erase the fracture like wiping fog from glass. But I don't. I won't pretend it didn't happen. That pain, it's mine to keep. He reaches out, then pulls back. Can't we just move on, like always? No. The refusal hangs heavy. He leaves with a nod, the door clicking shut like a final evasion. Distance yawns between us now, a chasm I won't bridge with silence. A few days later, in the quiet cafe where shadows pool like spilled ink, Elena sits across from me. Her gaze is sharp, unyielding, a mirror I once shattered but can't ignore. You look like I did after he left, she says, stirring her coffee slowly. Betrayed, clinging to the pieces. I nod, the anxiety ebbing into something firmer. Noah, he wants me to forgive and forget, but it hurts too much. She leans in, voice low and edged with the bitterness of her own scars. That's the hard lesson, Mara. I stayed silent once, thinking loyalty meant swallowing the knife. It didn't heal, it just carved deeper. You complicit in your own quiet? That's the real betrayal. Her words hit like cold rain, forcing me to see the pattern. My silence echoing hers, inviting the fracture. Resolve hardens in me, a quiet fire. I'm done erasing my pain for someone else's comfort. Boundaries aren't walls, they're what keeps me whole. Elena smiles faintly, a rare warmth cracking her facade. Good. Don't let go of that hurt yet. It's your teacher. As I walk home, the city's hum fades, leaving only the echo of my steps. Back in the apartment, I trace the window's crack with my finger. Light still filters through, persistent. But will I hold on to this pain, these boundaries, or let reconciliation demand I mend what shouldn't be forced? The question lingers, unanswered, in the gathering dusk. Finally, in the days that follow, I push open the curtains, letting the late afternoon light spill in like a hesitant confession. The apartment feels heavier than it should, stale air clinging to the walls, shadows pooling in corners where doubt likes to hide. My hands tremble as I dust the mantle, wiping away months of neglect. The shared journal sits in my lap, its leather cover worn soft from Noah's fingerprints, in mine. I hesitate, thumb tracing the spine. Placing it here feels final, a marker of what was. But keeping it buried, that's just another lie. Lena arrives with her yoga mat rolled under one arm, a thermos of chamomile in the other. Ready? She asks, voice steady, eyes scanning my face for the fracture lines. I nod, but my chest tightens. Anxiety coils like smoke. What if this ritual crumbles too? What if breathing deep just stirs up the ache, proves I'm still waiting for his voice on the line, some apology to stitch us back? No, I won't. Not anymore. We unroll the mats side by side, the floor cool against my palms. Inhale. Lena guides, her breath syncing with mine. 4 counts in, hold, 6 out. I try, lungs burning at first, the rhythm foreign. My mind races, Noah's voicemail, that crack in his words I replayed until it broke me. The journal watches from the mantel, silent witness to pages we'd filled with secrets. Now a ledger of loss. Exhale. The tightness eases, not gone, but shifting. Conscious now, cautious, like stepping onto thin ice, testing each crack. Lena's hand on my shoulder grounds me. This is yours, she says softly, not his to fix. I open my eyes, gaze lingering on the journal. A farewell, maybe. Can trust rebuild from this? Breath by breath, without his shadow. The light filters through the cracked window pane, warm despite the fracture. I choose it. For now, that's enough.